hard to capture, extravagant, resurrect the track and it's militant. And I react like a convict and start killing. It's manifesting. The gods work like appliances, dealing in my psyche.
Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explained here, bringing you guys another discussion for Boruto Naruto Next Generations, the manga. And if you're an anime only fan and you are not reading the manga, I highly recommend reading the manga, because right now the Boruto manga is headed towards a place where a lot of people are saying that it's giving pain arc vibes, and I'm not quite there yet. I'm somebody that went through the pain arc when it was weekly in the manga, but what I can say is that this is giving off a very dark vibe, and if everything is executed brilliantly, we could have an arc in Boruto that could give us some of those pain arc moments. I'm not gonna say it's gonna surpass the pain arc, but this is getting really good right now. So I would highly recommend reading the manga if you're not doing so already. But with all that being said though, if you're here, I'm assuming that you've read Boruto chapter 48 and you're okay with all these spoilers. So I wanted to go back and I wanted to talk to you guys about what Sasuke told Boruto, in particular when he said that I'm willing to lay my life down if it means that Konoha can survive. And he asked Boruto, can you actually do that yourself? And this is like led to everybody like saying, oh my god, Sasuke's death is foreshadow. And I'm right there with you. I definitely think that that is clear foreshadowing. But the other thing that really got at me was the fact that there's also something else to this. If Isshiki does go on the rampage, if he does go on the rampage and actually ends up killing a bunch of villagers and taking a bunch of people's lives, I think we need to have a very real discussion about whether or not Sasuke is going to use the Rinnerebirth jutsu. And I just want to clarify something, because I get this question a lot, and I'm actually working on a video. I'm going to send it to one of my editors who are doing the videos you guys will be seeing in August. I'm going to send it to one of them. But one of the things with the Rinnerebirth jutsu is that a lot of people, they only focus on what Nagato said when Nagato said that he needed a specific amount of chakra to use the jutsu. Every other instance when Rinnerebirth was brought up, whether it be Obito telling Madara that you need me to throw my life away in order to revive you to use that jutsu because Nagato isn't alive, every other instance, I can keep going. In the war arc, there was a retcon made. It has nothing to do with chakra reserves. Rinnerebirth is a life for a life jutsu. You use it and that's it. And I think that when we start looking at Sasuke and potentially Sasuke dying, I think that a lot of people could stomach the fact that Sasuke makes a sacrifice like this in order to revive the people of Konoha. And I think that that'd be a way for his character to come all the way full circle. Think about how beautiful that is. Sasuke would go from a character who deserted the village, at one point wanted to destroy the village, and like he told Obito, he said that he wanted to not just destroy the village, he said he was doing some posturing for Team Taka, but he wanted to kill every single villager because them living, it was a direct insult to Itachi's sacrifice in Itachi's life. And what I gotta say is, for Sasuke to come full circle like this and actually give his life for the village that he at one point wanted to destroy, I could definitely see this being a good way to kind of back in Sasuke's character. Now I know that doesn't sit right with some people. You know, a lot of people say, oh, I only read the Boruto manga for Naruto and Sasuke, and I've always kind of pushed back on that because, you know, while I do get it, you know, the thing I will say is that, you know, when you start looking at where characters are at this point, Boruto, when you look at his hero's journey and you look at the hero's journey in particular, the reason why something like this is important is you at some point do get to the loss of a father figure. And so it's either going to be Naruto or it's going to be Sasuke. There's no other character who's been introduced at this point who can fill that role of being the father figure. And so I definitely think that Sasuke dying for Boruto's development is something that could work, but I think that people will be okay with this opposed to Isshiki just snapping Sasuke's neck. I think people will be okay with this instead of that. I could definitely see this being something that actually pays a lot of things off for Sasuke. In particular, if something say happened to his wife or his daughter or something like that, I could definitely see Sasuke taking this route. And this would be really important for Boruto's character, because Boruto was told by Sasuke, when you're in this position, you're willing to give your life for the sake of the village. Is that something that you're able to do? For Boruto to see his teacher be willing to give his life for the greater good, to give his life to restore all the life that was taken, I definitely think that this could be the wake-up call for Boruto, and I think that for Sasuke's character, this would be a beautiful way to send this character out. Now, I know that does lead people saying, well, we haven't seen Sasuke train Boruto, and everybody wanted to see a time skip, and the reason why I push back on that is, like, technically we have seen Sasuke train Boruto. The fact of the matter is in that time we did see Sasuke training him with the Shuriken Jutsu and about the fundamentals of what it really means to be a ninja and actually changing Boruto's scope. We didn't get a whole lot in the Naruto manga when it came to Jiraiya training Naruto. Jiraiya just stepped in and said, hey, this is how you do the Rasengan, you work through the steps your own, I'll check on you from time to time. That was pretty much it. And then that whole 2.5-year time skip that happened in between chapters 238 and when you get to the Kazekage rescue arc, which happens a few chapters later. When you get to that, a lot of that training happened off screen. We didn't see it in the manga. So I would be okay with this, especially if the anime gives us some more scenes where we actually see Sasuke and Boruto training. You're not going to get that in the manga. I don't think that's going to be the case. But what I can say also is that Sasuke using Rinnerebirth like this also brings up another thing when it comes to Sasuke and Naruto as far as their role for Boruto Naruto Next Generations. So as long as Sasuke and Naruto are alive, the potential for real dread is never actually going to quite be there. Even now, a lot of people are saying, well, Isshiki stomped them, but there's a chance that they can actually win. And I think that if you remove Sasuke in this manner to where he's killed off because he revives all the villagers, and then Naruto gets sealed away when we get to that Boruto versus Kawaki fight that happens when Boruto's 16, if you remove those characters, it's going to force that next generation to step up, which is going to fit into the narrative of what the Naruto franchise has always been about. And I think that this is that moment, just how when it comes to the Naruto manga, there were two deaths that really pushed the Naruto story forward, which was the death of the third Hokage, who at the time was one of the most popular characters in the series, and the death of Jiraiya, a character who, in a lot of the polls, Jiraiya was polling very high in terms of characters that were most liked. So I think that this could be a time where you could remove one of them. And I think that the other thing is, like, for a series like Boruto that's still working to get its footing as far as with consistent manga sales, if Volume 1 is any indication, all these people bought Volume 1 because they want to know what happened to Naruto. If you kill off a legacy character like Sasuke and you do it in a beautiful way like this, and it's written correctly, I think that you're gonna have a lot of people come back to the manga. You're gonna have some people that get butthurt and they leave. That happened with Naruto, and what I can tell you is that a lot of those people came back. And I anticipate the same thing happening. At the end of the day, Naruto and Sasuke, they're not main characters anymore. They're support characters. That doesn't sit well with a lot of people, but it is what it is. That's the absolute truth. They are support characters. Their stories, for the most part, are done. I think the only character you can't kill off is Naruto. I don't think you can kill Naruto. Sasuke's expendable, though. However, I want to know from you guys, would you be okay if Sasuke gave his life to use Rinnerebirth in this manner? How would you feel about that? Let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. But as always, guys, if you like anything I had to say, don't forget to comment, rate, subscribe, and share. Thank you so much for watching. Until then, have an awesome day, guys.